another 25 or 50 basis points as early as January, February, it will be a very hot political potato. And it's going to become an issue because it hits you every day at the pump. It hits you every day at the grocery store. And that is what really hurts mandates. Inflation has been hurting presidential runs on both sides of the aisle for decades. It's nasty.
Hello, family. Welcome back to another episode of Journey to Harmony. I'm your host, Richard Harmon. Today I want to come and talk to you about some interesting things that have been said by some multimillionaires, close to billionaires. So for one, Mr. Wonderful Kevin O'Leary, he's been talking a lot about how the shrinkflation is going to be expanding now to our lives. So what happens is that over the last 5 years, 6 years or so, what's happened is the number of people who are producing things have reduced. Number of companies who produce things have reduced since the pandemic, and the number of people who are consuming things are now ever increasing. Many people are becoming more and more reliant upon the government as the price of homes and the price of everyday life becomes more and more out of most people's reach. They're reaching for other opportunities on how they can satisfy their daily needs. So what happened now is that Grant Cardone was recently on a TikTok video, and he was talking about just about what he expects here. For those of you who are not familiar, tiny homes are exploding in the southern Sun Belt. People are realizing that the regular cost of housing is unaffordable, and what they're seeing is that they can just shrink the housing, make double or triple the amount of products that they have, and sell them off to people for a similar price or a reduced price in terms of square footage. So what I'm gonna do here is play a little video about what Grant Cardone recently said. We'll watch a little bit of that, come back and go from there. If you're first time joining, please hit that like button.
America will become a renter nation. You will rent and use everything. You will rent your cars. You will rent where you live. You might even rent your clothes in the future. A mortgage is just a fancy way to say you own some shit that you don't own. The savior of America will not be lower prices. It will be longer mortgages. In your lifetime, you will see mortgages go from 30 to 40, 50, and maybe even 60 years. You could, if you live long enough, see a 100-year mortgage in America in order to give you the illusion that you own something when you don't.
All right, perfect. So there it is, 30-year, 40-year, 50, 60, or even possibly a 100-year mortgage. What does that mean in terms of that mortgage plan? That means that we have had so many people come to this country, and so many people are purchasing homes that there is no housing crash. A 40-year mortgage makes a payment that is unaffordable for most. It makes it more affordable. A 50-year mortgage does the same thing, and a 60-year mortgage does even more. It continues to reduce the price. What that does is right now is that it pushes the upper bound of what people can afford even further out. So while we're at a $420,000 right now for the most part for the median price home across America, with you having a 60, 50, or 40-year mortgage, that median price home goes from $420,000 likely to $500,000 or $600,000 as you're able to spread that payment out across a longer period of time. This is going to be an interesting time frame right now as we look to see what is going on in America. There's so many different things that are changing right now. California and New York look to be hemorrhaging people at large numbers as they're being brought in from the border, and more people who have been there are looking to leave and go elsewhere. And we can expect that if nothing happens, if there isn't a drastic change in terms of border policy, this is going to only continue and to accelerate in time to come. For those of us who have been waiting for housing crashes, we've had 7 million people come into America since 2020. This is what the Speaker of the House recently stated. And that pace is actually accelerating right now. So we could see another, 2-3 million people here, and that'll be 4 years, and 10 million people have crossed into the country. And with every year that passes, this is going to get worse and worse and worse. Baby boomers are living longer and longer, and what we can expect now is that there's going to be less and less space. I spoke about it before.
As a nation, we're at the highest debt that we've ever seen. So having said that, to me, I look at this as sort of an erosion of the American dream. You've got a generation of young people who aren't saving. They think owning a home is out of their reach. What happens when that generation now becomes adults and sort of spreads out across the country? What kind of America are we looking at?
We're looking at a downsized America. I tell it like it is. Let's talk about housing. Just 3 years ago, even 24 months ago, you get a mortgage at 4.5%. You're lucky to get one at 8 today. So that means the size of the house you're going to buy is 20 to 25% smaller. That's a downsize. You want to You want to borrow for a car? Sorry, that's 8 to 9%, used to be 5. So, smaller, less expensive car. That's happening at the same time. And also, you really have to think about where you work. If you're going to spend a lot of money driving, you're going to pay a fortune in gasoline because that's moving back up. Looks like we're on our way back up to oil between $90 and $100. These are all political issues, but the truth is, if you take interest rates up in this unprecedented, from basically nothing to 5%, 5.5% now, and on its way likely to 6, which means the lending rate's more like 9, it's going to hurt somewhere, and it means your lifestyle, if you're in your early 20s, is going to be about 20% less. Sorry to tell you the truth, but that's what I do all day long, and that's the way it is.
The expansion of tiny homes and these, dual unit spaces are beginning to grow in places. There are things called pods, I believe, that they're talking about, where it's like 300 square feet or something, like a small closet, and people are staying in these particular areas. But there's a lot that is changing here in America, and for those who are looking for the American dream, being able to go out and to finance that, to be able to settle yourself into a home. This isn't really a time where we're doing lone wolf opportunities is going to be the case, whether it is that you are out in your other rooms of your house, or you're married or something of that nature. We need to be working together right now. So you either have someone that you live with, a brother, a family, spouse, someone, or you're creating a business relationship with someone else who is doing their best to help to reduce the cost, not only for you, but also for your family, and for you to be able to invest in the other means of transportation and means of progress as well. This is a lot that is happening right now, and we will see how this plays out. Many people who are not focused on this, who are hoping for a crash landing and for things to return back to the 2008 particular area in time, I think are definitely going to be in for a shock when things are realized. What are your thoughts on this? Please comment below, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining. Have a good day.